You know, Miles, this time of year in Utah, it's so sweet. We're out here in Tooele at Randy's Transmission picking up a tranny, right?
Yep. Dylan's doing one in an LBZ, and the customer, we put an engine in it, and the customer's like, I want to do an engine with a transmission. And so he's like, put in a Randy's. So
yeah, and we love Randy. We love their product. In fact, he's moving out of here. He's moving into Salt Lake, right?
Yeah, West Valley, I believe. We got the transmission that Dylan pulled out here.
Yeah, we're gonna the core.
Uh-huh.
Are they doing any upgrades for him, or are they getting the stock?
Let's go find out.
Let's go find out.
Yeah.
Hi.
How y'all doing today?
Hey, everybody. Wow, look at that. Everybody's on the phone making money. That's a good thing.
You guys are also picking up a transmission, is that correct?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Perfect.
Yeah, we've got a core in the back.
Okay.
And then,
perfect.
yeah, we can unload that.
Yeah.
Got our tech room and Josh's office are all up there. Where all the magic happens for
Where's
Josh.
this Randy guy?
Don't have him here today, unfortunately. This is where the magic happens. We got Chris does all of our shipping of our transmissions, accepts products, everything.
How long have you guys, because this is where Randy started.
No.
Well, so he actually started, a 2-bay garage down in Grantsville.
When?
That would have been 2008.
2008 is when he started.
Wow.
Back in Grantsville, actually in a tough shed in his backyard. Then he moved to a small 2-bay shop in Grantsville. And then in 2018, he moved to this building here. And when he moved here, he thought, I'm never going to be able to fill this building up. Fast forward to 2022, we outgrew this building and moved to a building around the corner for our torque converter facility. Now we've outgrown both of those buildings. Wow. And so that's why we're moving to West Valley City here in about a month and a half.
Wow. So tell me, Randy, since he's not here, tell me about his history before he started the place. Was he a builder?
Yeah, he worked for a couple different transmission shops that I'm aware of. Tanner Transmissions was one of them.
Okay.
And I guess he actually worked for you for a hot second.
Get out of here.
Yeah, that's what he was telling me. I wish he was here to tell the story, but apparently he worked for you for a quick minute, and then he was like, I don't know if I'm going to cut it out. I'm not sure if I'm cut out for this. And
Yeah, well, I've been around since God made dirt, so. So did I let him go or did he quit?
I'm actually not sure.
Doesn't really matter, but look, this is such a good story because here's the deal. You might not know this about me. I was working in a dealership, he was born, and then 3 months later I was like, baby, we should get married because we'd been living together for 5 years.
Yeah.
And went to Jackson Hole, married my wife on the weekend. His mother, who I'm currently married to, thank you, Lord, and came back. I got fired.
No way.
I got fired on the day I got back from getting married.
Wow.
I went around, I was looking at other shops to go to work or something, and I was the same. I was like, I don't think so. And I finally said, I went home to his mother, my wife, I got to start my own thing. I can't work for anybody else, man. It's not going to work. And so I started in a storage unit.
No way.
In the middle of winter, yeah.
True. Similar story.
True story. That was in 1990.
Okay.
But yeah, and then it took me 3 years, and then I built the first building where I'm currently at.
Right.
But that right there is evidence. I wish Randy was here. Randy, where you at, bro? We'd like to hear your story, but that's how it is. Every obstacle, he came to work for me, whether I let him go or whether he quit or whatever, he turned it into this.
Yep.
And now he's recognized as in this transmission space, the man in the United States. So what happened here? Was this an addition? Because I see this floor here, and then I see the drain. So this building was this an add-on to that building? Because that looks like an exterior wall.
No,
Am I wrong?
So this building was actually the original Budweiser distribution facility for Tooele. So everything that you see was how it was. The epoxy floor is something that we had laid down when we moved in here.
All right.
But yeah, this was the refrigerated side. The trucks would roll through here, load up, and then leave.
Okay. Nice that you ended up with a floor drain and everything.
Yeah, the floor drain.
Yeah.
Godsend for this place.
Yeah, big time.
So especially for the R&R side when we were really heavy in it, just sweep everything out for the most part, and away we went.
Well, show me how you do it from start to finish.
So when cores arrive, they come in through this bay door. Chris checks them in. They either get tagged and put in line, or they get tagged and they get put back here with our cores behind this fence. From there, if they get put in this line, they start getting torn down.
Okay.
And then I guess we would have to walk this direction. Start walking through the shop.
Walk through our tear down.
So when the Transmissions arrive, they come into here. I've got a team of 4 or 5 guys that end up tearing down the transmissions down to their bare metal casings. The gear train gets put on a cart, everything else gets torn apart, thrown away. And then they go into the parts washing over here, where the cases get blasted down, they get painted, they get prepped. Once everything is ready, it gets brought back out here. It gets put on a cart with all the gear train and other hard parts that are able to be reused, along with their RO. Then they get staged and ready to be built by our builders, which are over here.
So a lot of transmissions. What is this trans?
Yeah. So we've got, I believe, all of these. These are all going to be 68 RFEs. So anything that's a gray transmission is going to be either a stock build, which is very rare on our occasion. A lot of these will be our stage 1 builds, and then anything red will either be a stage 2, 3, or 4. The most popular, I should say, would be our stage 2, which is around 750 horsepower capable of holding.
You guys like the Dodge crowd?
We like the Dodge crowd because they keep us busy. It keeps us very busy. So when the teardown guys start tearing apart the transmissions, they take all the valve body cores, they bring them over here, they stick them on these carts, they get them ready for us to start tearing them apart, they start prepping them, separating them, and they start doing the rebuilding process. And once they're done, they put them on one of the valve body testers to pressure check them, make sure everything is ready to go.
Wow, really?
Yep. So everything is pressure checked, solenoid checked, and then once they're good to go, we box them when you ship them, or they get installed into a transmission.
This makes sense.
Correct.
Wow. See, everybody's, I mean, you can, this is confirmation. This is how you check your product. This is great, man.
We're checking to make sure valves, all valves are going to be under pressure, low pressure, high pressure. This does also temperature, so we can use cold fluid and hot fluid as well. Because you can trip electronics just by temperature of fluid, correct?
Right.
So this gives us both temperatures of operating temperature of the vehicle and a cold temperature to start up, so that we can really check the electronics on both sides and get that solenoid's moving how it's supposed to be, but it doesn't move when it's cold because we got a problem or that's a defective part. We can catch it here or we're catching it in the truck.
Well, now I see how they do it. I was wondering how that was done. I'm sorry.
I'm Matt, Director of Operations. Sorry,
Hi, Matt.
I'm late getting over here for you.
So let's be honest. This allows everybody to sleep better at night.
Absolutely.
That's all this stuff does. You know, when I talk about it in my thing, condition cost correction confirm. If you can't confirm your product or your repair, it's a very uncomfortable position to be in.
Absolutely.
And the shops that do that and install a system to do that are the ones that thrive. The other people are constantly, you know, they're going in the morning at their shop and they're going, any problems?
Am I gonna get that phone
What's
call?
the matter?
Right.
You know, not that we don't have problems still, but this, you know, this kind of stuff, I like to see it because this kind of stuff will limit, you know, this is what you want to see.
Right.
How else are you doing it? You're waiting for the tranny to go in the truck and you're going, I hope it's okay.
Back in the day, that's how it was.
I know.
It was hopefully Randy built it right. It was the way it was going, but not anymore. Now we can take
Yeah, cool.
and invest in that thing so we know it's right.
Yeah, cool. And then this is your parts?
Yep, this is our parts department.
All of our parts we use and then what we sell to customers as well. So
Okay.
the same thing on this system. All of our orders go out. Our goal is 2 days. Is to ship it every, no more than 2 days.
Wow.
Plug and plays, like get some bigger ones, is 5 days. Is our goal.
So really, so from the time to order from the time to ship on 80% of your product is 2 days?
Is our
Wow.
goal. So,
Wow,
we just hired a couple new people.
We need to bump up, buddy. Seriously. What are we?
Society
What are we?
We're down to about 2 weeks on engines. But
In a world of Amazon, everybody wants everything now.
So the math is these guys are 10 times better than us. They're 2 days and we're 2 weeks. Yeah. Is that right? Did I get the math right?
Yeah.
No, hold on. That's engine transmissions.
I don't think they're easier.
I'm
Don't say that.
4 weeks. I'm sorry.
Don't say that in front of my son. I want him to get it going here.
We're 4 weeks right now for transmissions, unfortunately. But parts wise and valve body stuff like that, we're
Okay.
But you guys are moving.
Oh, so okay. So now, wait a minute. So now you're 4 weeks from for a transmission. Okay, I
Yeah.
had that wrong. I thought it was for transmission.
No,
So
just
now
parts.
let's do the math. We're twice as good as they are.
How many transmissions are you guys doing? 'Cause
Yeah,
place
this-
is humming.
We do on average between 12 and 15. Well, with North Carolina, between North Carolina here, we do between 12 and 20 a day.
So you got another facility in North Carolina.
Correct.
I did not know that.
We won't do that math because these guys are.
Yeah. Wow.
We ship over
Laughing at
150 transmissions a month.
Good for you, man.
And that's U.S., Brazil, what do we do? Brazil,
Australia.
Sweden, Australia,
Yeah.
Brazil.
Yeah.
Germany.
Yeah. Netherlands.
So pretty much wherever we can ship, we can import. There's not restrictions. Israel, we just opened up Israel as well. Big new dealerships coming online for us in Israel. There's lots of Ford trucks, lots of U.S. trucks in Israel. They buy lots of cars from us already. But Israel is going to be manufacturing our transmissions as well over there.
We got to be selling our
Israel.
engines over there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That's phenomenal.
Okay, so your valve bodies are built over here.
Correct.
So then the transmission rebuild, does the guy take the whole trans from start to finish, or is it a process?
So when he starts it, he does it from start to finish.
Okay, yeah.
The only thing he doesn't do is the valve body.
Okay.
And
And
everything else he does.
I like that. You know, my machinist will do all the machine work on an engine, but we separate. The cylinder head department does the cylinder head, the block department does the blocks, and then my crank guy. I got a crank guy that does the crank. But the my builder does the entire assembly. I don't want to hear some guy say, well, that guy did blah, blah, blah.
Same reason.
No, bro.
It's not an assembly line over here. You put that part in, you put this part in.
Yeah. I think it's a better, at least for my business. I was wondering about yours. So
Yeah.
you find that a better way to do it?
Correct.
Yeah. I think so.
It'd be quicker than an assembly line. We could be quicker.
Yeah.
But it's not about being quick. It's
That's
about
me.
quality.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I know people kind of see, everybody out there might think that, you definitely don't do this for the money. You want to make money, it's a business, but you get into it because you're love of doing something really well.
that falls all to Randy down.
For sure.
If Randy got into this, it's for the love of the industry. And if you work here, it's for the love of the industry.
Well, again, I'd love to meet Randy because I've recommended his stuff for years. So, Randy, where are you?
So right here, Dave, we start, everything comes in, cores, converter cores, we separate them out by what transmission. Connor here runs
Cuts them open.
cut open lathe, and so cuts everything open, drains it, cleans it, separates it, and the parts that we keep and the parts that go away, that we replace with new, better billet, like you can see behind you. So converters come in from the OEMs, they're stamped steel. They don't balance very well.
Right.
It's just stamp press steel. They have lots of balance weight on them. We see a lot of times. So we get rid of stamp steel. We go to billet covers, which machine steel. They balance. It's 100% balanced, which as an engine guy, right, spins better,
Yeah,
matches
yeah.
better with the engine. Bad parts, stuff that's been damaged, that we get rid of. So he does our first inspection, cut open, gets everything clean, gets it ready for heading for production. Now here it is more production, but still the builder does start at the beginning for the most part here as well.
So show me the parts inside these converters.
Sure, Cody, what do you got available, sir? What are you working on?
These are your AS69 12 discs.
So these are, like I said, AS69, so Dodge 3500s
Yeah.
and up. So the bottom is what they call a cover. And so again, we get rid of the stamped steel. Turbine, we reuse, like for ASINs, we reuse them, they're so beefy. And this is where a lot of them people you see how really the ASIN, it's a really great transmission. It's a really beefy transmission.
Where's the fail point in this besides the unbalanced cover? It's not good. But where's the fail point in these converters?
The OEM one's actually a solid converter. This is considered captive clutch. So the clutch is center over where the other ones are to the outside. So this is the newer design of the torque converters, this captive clutch design. They use the 10Rs, 10Ls. It's just a much better system. You get more clutches in a centered force instead of having to spread your fluid all the way out here to push your clutches down.
Okay.
It's a wider bore, so you're adding thicker clutches as well. So then you're upgrading these from the original to a billet piece to accept these new clutches that are wider, more material.
So
all that.
OEM, we do on this one, we go to a wider, a bigger clutch than OEM. But even the OEM converter by A69 is still a solid
So you're
converter.
saying the OEM is a smaller
It's
clutch
smaller
base?
clutch,
I
correct.
got
Show
you.
you right now.
So you got more surface. You got just more surface.
Correct.
Okay.
But you can see the thickness of
Oh,
what we do
yeah.
for
Wow.
holding power,
Oh yeah.
as well as, like I said, stamped steel,
Yeah. This is.
billet,
Yeah.
and then
Wow.
how much bigger we can run clutches for them. But we
Yeah.
use still OEM, damper plate OEM.
Now you get more clutches
Yes.
in this.
Correct. So
Okay.
you're going from four OEM to 5 in ours.
Okay. Wow.
So what will your transmission be rated for?
This converter we use in all of our AS69 builds from stage 1 to stage 3, our biggest one. But we have these converters running 1,000 horse, no problem.
Wow. Holy
1,000
cow.
plus.
That's impressive.
So we've done this converter is the same converter that we had in the 2015 that we ran in Pritchett Canyon with.
Okay.
So the same transmission, same converter. So he puts everything together, clutches. He's checking clutch clearance,
Yes.
what the movement we have
Right.
is proper.
Uh-huh.
Puts it all together, and then so that's what he's doing, checking clutch clearance. You got a pump, Cody? Any pumps ready?
I do not, but I can grab you.
So then, as he gets to the bottom, and then he'll get a pump, he'll grab here for us, and then he'll put the pump on. Then he's going to measure overall clearance. So we're not too big, right? So we're not pushing into the pump of the transmission, or we're not pushing too hard
Okay.
against the engine.
This
So-
bad reputation. This one would fail.
But as you can see, it doesn't fit because of how thick we are. So we'll machine these down
Okay.
just enough to make our fit, and then we'll weld. But Cody, again, is so one inspection process. Cody's the final inspection of the QA, right? Of doing inside. Hey, is the hub damaged? Do we got grooves? We got cracks?
Which that one is damaged.
And then Cody will check all fins as well. Is any pulled out? If anything broke away from being grazed? But like I said, Cody's the the final check, the QC check of making sure the pump and everything, and all the parts are quality and ready to be put together.
Cool.
So it does all the measuring. Some converters run stators in them. That does even more. This is in between the stator and the pump of the coupling. Aces don't use this style. 48, 68s use these. A lot of the transmissions use stators. Now these, you change your stall speed by you changing angles, changing depths, is how you change stall speed. So when somebody says, I want a higher stall for racing, and I'm going down the track, okay, great. Well, whether we open or close the angle of the fins is what the stall speed we can give them.
They got to spin up faster before they start grabbing.
Correct.
Is basically what.
Right, to get that coupling up. Lets them get their RPMs up or light that turbo before
Yep.
it really, engages that transmission. So Cody gets them here, stuffs them on down the line. We run multiple different lathes for cutting, for machining.
Old tooling. How old do you think this old lathe is?
World War II,
Yeah, and still works great.
number 4, my number 3, I think another
Yeah.
number 3. My old lathes, they're phenomenal. And the price, I couldn't pay. I mean, what did you pay for a new one and these still do
It's exactly what you
phenomenal
need them to
work.
do.
Exactly.
Yeah, cool. For the work I do, you can't use this anymore because we're doing a lot of CNC work.
Right.
But old lathes and mills and stuff like that, it's fascinating to me.
So they come down the line, they come here. So he's got his numbers on for height, and then Colt will take it from here and go to the welder. We run 2 different welders depending on what converter we're welding. This one does a lot of our bigger converters. This will be some of our smaller ones.
Sure.
So he'll set it up, he'll come in, he'll clamp here, and we'll check run out, right, the hub. That's huge. That run out can't be off.
So you're going to check run out here,
Correct.
because and then once that's zeroed, then you're going to weld.
Correct.
Yeah, that's okay.
And then we tack in 6 places. Because even if you just go start the welding, you'll pull, the heat will pull, and you're off by 20, then you can be out by 10, 20 thousandths, and
Okay.
then adios transmission pump.
Yeah.
So again, tolerances and stuff are really big to us. We run less than industry average. So industry average, some converters is 10, we run 5. We try to run about half what the industry spec is.
So you're looking for a 5 run out.
5
on
or
this?
less. Yep, and we'll take it out and weld a new hub in.
The industry standard is 10?
10,
Wow,
yeah,
that
10,000's run out on
That
this.
seems like a lot.
Yeah, and some it's different, some it's less.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
just anything the industry is kind of set a standard, we try to run half,
Right. That's
and then where we
impressive.
know that we're well within that spec.
Yeah, that's amazing.
So we'll tack it 6 times, and then he'll set it up, the semi-auto welding, and then it will automatically weld it all the way around from there. And then he'll take it from here. He'll pressure test next. So this will go in just like a balloon, swell up,
Sure.
seal it, and then we go to 120 psi. The converter has to hold that for 3 minutes. And then any bubbles in a weld, that pinhole You can't see, I can't see.
Yeah.
Man, it will make it the biggest leak in the transmission when it spins at,
Yeah.
a couple thousand RPM. So we test them there, and then here's the one he's just getting ready to balance. So you can see the weld, the pretty weld that he does on them.
Yeah.
So he's tested this one. There's no leaks. We know no leaks. We put this in to stop that stator from spinning, so you can actually get it balanced.
Okay. Well, that just I got you.
Yeah, that just locks that stator inside, so you don't have it parts trying to spin with it. Just like a tire machine. But anyways, it gives him all the pass and the detail what he wants. Now we do a burst certificate for every converter. So it gets all of our measurements and specs, our overall height, our clearance, our runouts. So we can always go back. Customer comes back and says, oh, hey, this shop said the runouts, 20 thousandths. Well, we can go back and look at our burst certificate. We keep records like that for us on every converter that's made. It has its own little burst certificate.
That's awesome. Again, that's the confirmation your repair is done right.
Correct.
Without that confirmation, I tell you, every shop in the world, you better find a way to do that, or you'll never get to this level. You just won't. You're going to trip over yourself day in and day out. So confirm your repair, or you're not going to do it.
So it comes down here. He's identified what it needs, and then my guy will TIG weld it. Now, the big thing when we do these, we don't add weight wire to it. We blend, because by adding weight, you're throwing off what you just balanced. Okay, so we just blend. We blend right in the weights that we get. This is looks like 12 gram. And then, like I said, he'll blend it, TIG weld to blend it in, but we will not add wire, because you make that the reason why you did that. So every converter is stamped as well, serial numbered, and by us as well on top, so we know serial number, batch number, stuff like that. So from there, my guy Gavin takes them here. We primer everything. We just don't stick paint on it and send it out the door. We primer, we let it dry. We use high solid paints, high solid primers, and then he'll paint. Again, they'll sit dry, and then we'll box and ship. Some of the finished product.
Yeah, wonderful.
Classic
Wow.
red.
Red is all for like stage 2 and up, and our gray is always for our stage 1s. Gives us a little bit of separation of where we can tell what belongs to what. 50 a month was a big goal for us. I think we did over almost 350 last month.
Nice. Wow.
So
The new building, our goal is we're going to go to 600 converters a month.
So looking at the stamps, because we just go off the number, I saw 10,615. So that's
In
about
5 years.
10,615 converters we've produced since we started the converter division with us.
And when was that?
21.
21.
Wow.
Yeah, late 21.
Congratulations. That's a big deal.
So yeah, it's been a good division for us. It's nice. It was nice to bring it in house and not have to buy it from 3 different people.
Well, guys, it's been a pleasure to finally
Yes,
meet
sir.
you.
We appreciate
and
it.
Randy, we didn't get to meet you. Thank you. I'm going to just be dogging him forever about this.
So,
anyway.
we'll make him come up.
Oh, the tables are turned though. Not to.
Oh, yeah, when he comes out to my place.
He's already been out. Him and Matt came
Oh,
out.
did they?
Uh-huh.
Oh, and I wasn't
Oh,
there?
that's right. Yeah.
Oh, shoot. I see.
Let me get my foot on my mouth.
I
now.
see. This is payback. I see. This is
I
what
wasn't gonna let you slide.
Yeah, we brought and Frank came out, the owner of Fluidine as well, our partner.
Yeah.
He came out with us.
Where was I?
Surgery. You just had your
Yeah,
shoulder
it was
surgery.
Oh,
I
I
think.
was, yeah. In fact, I'm headed back for my left shoulder in July.
Oh, but one got one done now. The other one.
Yeah, one done, and now I got the other one to do. Make sure, guys, if you're out there working on trucks and cars, make sure you're getting paid well for it, because
Take care of your body.
Take care of your body.
Yeah.
I tell my guys a lot. Even here you saw some of the lifting art. One of the big things, improvements we are making ours is there's an overhead crane system going on our new building.
Yeah.
My guys here won't lift close to what they do now, for us, because we care about that.
Yeah.
That long-term employee,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
A guy lifted 90 pounds for 20 years, he ain't gonna have back lift. And I want that employee for 20 years,
Yeah.
right? So we actually, this place is getting a nice overhead crane in the new facility.
Yeah.
to
I'm the
help
same
them.
way. I'm like, we got overhead cranes everywhere.
Yep.
And try to make a nicer place for them. Same with my guys. I buy all the equipment to make their lives easy. Well, thanks again. Thanks again,
Appreciate
guys.
it. Good to meet you.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, we've got something really cool, and it's not my truck. It's this. We've got this transmission that we just picked up and gonna give it to Dylan because this customer we did an engine for, did a great job, got it up and running, and then before the customer came to pick it up, he's like, well, you know what, I've got enough miles on this truck, I don't wanna have to do a bunch of stuff to it, go ahead and put a Randy's transmission in it. So, we went down to Randy's, had them build us a transmission, and then we're gonna unload this and bring it to Dylan. So, let's get it off and get it to him. All right, Dylan.
Wow. Look at that beast.
So yeah, this is their stage 1 transmission. We actually got to see how they do their torque converters, their transmission builds, everything like that.
Oh, they do that all in the house, huh?
Yep.
Oh, awesome.
And they balance their torque converters, like they test all their valve bodies, all that stuff they do, so that when we get it, it's like, okay, I know that it's not just been slapped together, it's been actually tested every step of the way.
I can already tell you one thing I noticed too is they even come with speed sensors.
Oh.
You know, like easily 3/4 of all the other transmission builders I get from, like you're always taking the speed sensors out of your old one, putting them in your new one.
Yeah.
Things like that, but they even shipping it with new speed sensors. That's a big plus already. So
Yeah. They sent you with some new tranny lines.
Oh, sweet.
So, because I feel like every Chevy, I know you're a Chevy guy.
Yeah, they
but
leak.
They leak. I've been
They leak. Yep.
1500s, 3500s, whatever
Yep,
it is.
no matter what.
Yeah.
And they're such a headache to change too, because you got that long hard line that's not flexible, that you then got to twist and get out of the engine bay without bending or kinking the line, and it's just.
Well,
I really like these hydraulic line upgrades. So
they already come with the fittings, swivel fittings and everything. So,
nice.
And then a pack of other stuff that you're gonna need.
Transmission and cooler, cool.
Yeah.
On.
You are probably going to be among the first people to use this. They just released this.
Oh, just release these lines. Huh?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So
Right on.
should be pretty nice.
Yeah, that's about it. We'll have to spin that transmission around. I'll get the torque converter put in it.
Their torque converters, I didn't know this because we don't do transmissions. I mean, we install them, but the housings for these torque converters are just a stamped steel from the factory.
Oh, yeah. They're not welded together or anything.
So they do a billet housing that then they balance.
All right, if you'll pull the box out.
Yep.
Weighs a couple pounds.
Yeah. Yeah. So they were showing this. So this housing here is a billet housing.
Yeah.
That then you can see, they showed us how they balance it, kind of like we do with cranks and other things like that. But then they put a dial indicator and they go more than at least 2 times, if not a tighter tolerance here on this on the shaft.
Oh yeah.
Than what the factory does. So they're not going to have as much like end play, so to say, or wobble.
Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
There's these billet covers are a really nice upgrade, especially for your diesel, because you have a clutch in here, your torque converter lockup clutch.
Right.
And sometimes these hubs, because they get hot, especially when you're towing, they can start to warp, and then it'll cause that torque converter clutch to fail prematurely. So going with the billet cover is a lot less likely to warp too. So that's a really good upgrade to do as well. So on any truck.
And I think they do an extra clutch in there. That pack, like the splined pack that those slide on, is a lot heavier duty. It's
and then even where these bolts go for the flex plate, it's not a welded on nub. It's actually a billet piece that's cut out, so it's a lot stronger too, because you got a lot of torque on these bolts, that engine rotating. So
well, sweet. It should be all good for you. Here's some warranty information.
Okay.
We should have everything that you need.
Well, now the fun begins.
Yeah, and then you're putting it in the truck that you just did a ton of work in.
Yeah.
But
we'll have to show them what we're on with the transfer case too. So.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
That's what started this whole ordeal. So
Just the transfer case.
yeah.
What
So after we put the engine in, we go through 500-mile drive cycle.
Right.
While it was driving, we did a 4x4 service. We serviced all the, transfer case, front and rear diffs.
Right.
I noticed that the transfer case had barely any fluid in it, and it looked like it had been leaking. So we filled it up and drove it,
Right.
and it was leaking out of this output shaft seal. But I inspected this yoke, and the bushing's been wearing. There's a bushing inside here, and it's been wearing. Yeah, and you can really feel it, especially right there.
Wow, there's a huge dip right there.
Yeah, and so that's why the seal wasn't sealing, is because that bushing inside this tail housing was starting to fail from being low on fluid, most likely. And it was the original transfer case. The truck is like 260,000 miles.
Right.
There's also these GM transfer cases. There's the pump inside the transfer case can rub through right here. There's little ears, and then they can rock back and forth, and then just over time they wear a hole through the housing. So usually you start getting leaks in there. So customers like, you know what, let's just go in, install the upgraded transfer case with the pump saver kit,
Right.
and we'll do a transmission while we're there. He just wanted to be like, you know what, we did the engine, we're doing the transfer case, let's just do it all.
Right, right.
Let's just really get it set up good. So
Wow.
yeah, so I got I got a new yoke on the driveline over there with the new U-joint, and now we can just put it all back together.
You're gonna do it right.
Yeah.
I love it.
I'm excited.
Well, if anybody's interested in similar upgrades with your truck, whether it's an LBZ, whether it's a Duramax, Cummins, Power Stroke, whatever it may be, all of Randy's products we now partner with and list their products on our website. So if you want the same quality that this customer is doing, the nice, great installation that our mechanics love here, go check it out on our website and get hooked up so that you can get these same quality things. Boom.
When you kind of see the stock one in there, we'll have to show them a shot when we have it apart, but it's not very big. You can see it, right? I mean,
Oh, and it's one of those like little sissy coolers too.
Yeah, it's just like from there to there. So this one's easily twice as thick and a little more wide.
And it looks like it might have the same fittings to fit on. I mean, I know you're putting on new cooler lines, but
Yeah.
if somebody wasn't doing cooler lines,
Yeah,
it looks like
I'm
you could
pretty
just
sure
bolt
these
it
are
up.
the O-ring Boss fittings, so you can even screw in the factory. It's like a snap to connect fitting.
Oh, sweet.
But yeah,
Yeah,
we'll show them when we get to that point. But
I would like to compare them side by side and be like, this is what comes from the factory, because heat, really, whether it's to your engine, to your transmission, whatever, if it's not cooling properly, it will kill that unit.
yeah, like heat's the #1 killer of transmissions. I'd say it's like they build up a lot of heat, and if you don't have a good cooler, especially when towing, it's gonna cause that transmission to fail a lot quicker.
Right.
You got lots of rubber seals and O-rings and bushings inside that transmission, and those seals start to not hold pressure. Then you start slipping, and then your clutches start to fail, and it's just a downhill spiral from
Right.
there. So
Well, that looks beefy. I
Yeah.
like that. Sweet.
yeah, this is sweet.
Yeah, I want to show you some things. We're putting a Randy's transmission in our engine job here. The guy wanted a full package. He not only wanted us to do his engine, but he wanted a transmission in it. And of course, we're a distributor for Randy's transmission. You go to our website, click on the link in the description, and we can order one for you. But I want to talk about a few things when you're doing a tranny or you're doing this type of work when the cab's off. You want to take care of a few things. One of them is always replace the oil cooler lines. Now guys, I know you're thinking, oh, I can flush the oil cooler. This transmission had a lot of metal in it, okay? The one that we replaced, the original one. That metal, you cannot flush the lines out. Now, these GM lines, these are the ones that came out of it. Normally, and guys that work on GM, they leak like a sieve around these fittings. You can see where this one is starting to leak here, or they'll leak here on the hose, on the crimps. Plus, you've got metal debris that you're just not able to flush out of there. Now, let me show you what you want to upgrade when you're putting a tranny in. What is the #1 killer of an automatic transmission more than anything else? Okay, run it without fluid. That's the #1 killer. But the one second to that would be overheat. Now, why does an automatic transmission overheat? Is because you're not getting the heat out of it. And the best way to do that is a better cooler than the factory cooler. Here's the factory cooler. That's it. That's it. The fin size, the depth of the fin, that's it. So an upgraded cooler, and we've got these on our store. This is extruded. This thing will never leak, and it's got twice the cooling capacity of the original cooler. The other thing, the new hose kit comes with swivel fittings on it. You get your hose in there, you don't have to worry. It's so nice, okay? And the length is perfect. So don't forget to do that, guys. I know that a customer's like, oh my gosh, that's more money. And I know that stresses you. I get that. You're like, I'm sorry, I don't mean to do this to the customer. But if you don't sell the job right, it's not right. And the customer, you could void the warranty on it, because if it was found that the replacement transmission failed because of contamination from this stuff not being cleaned up right, or leaking because the hoses started leaking and the guy didn't stay on top of it, you could be liable for it. Sell the customer the job right, you won't have the headaches, and you'll build trust. The other thing, if you just want to, again, heat, get the heat out of it. Look at this Banks ram cooling system. We're ramming air up in here. All these heat fins dissipate more heat. Plus, you get an extra 2 quarts of fluid in the transmission. That's always a good thing. A bigger oil pan that cools off, tranny pan that's larger and cools off. These are all pluses for the guy. He's towing with this. If you're towing anything, do these upgrades. It's insurance.
So this is the PPE transmission bracket. And so on GMs, you got this whole transfer case that is only supported by the rear extension housing of the transmission.
Which basically is like 6 bolts, right?
Yeah,
And
6 bolts.
it's all right here.
Yeah.
So all this other cantilevered weight is just kind of bouncing around.
Bouncing around there, and then if you start getting vibrations in your drive line, it just puts a lot of stress on the extension housing of that transmission.
So see back here, folks, see where that bracket comes all the way back and supports on the top of the tranny up there. That's an excellent upgrade.
And the big thing too is if you crack that extension housing, you have to remove the transmission to replace it, because there's springs and balls in there, and you got to have the transmission stood on the front in order to remove it. Otherwise, stuff will just go flying everywhere. So,
Dylan, you just taught me something. I didn't know that.
yeah.
So you can't unbolt that extension housing on this Allison.
No.
And bolt that up there.
No, you have to have it out, and you have to have the transmission sitting on its face to remove it, because there's springs and balls and things in there. So.
Good to know. So a half-hour job to install a bracket could save you, what, 12 hours worth of work?
Oh, definitely.
Plus a cracked house. I mean,
yeah, plus
a
the
transfer
cracked
cable, and then you're going to pay for the core and everything.
And it's really simple. You just got 2 bolts here on your transfer case, and then you take 4 bolts out of that extension housing, and then the bracket just sits right in there. You just tighten your bolts in. There you go. You got your added support, and
I bet this is. I say this all the time, and this is one thing we prove our products. That's the other thing. Everything that we sell and talk about here, we've proven it dozens of times. So when we say it bolts on, this actually bolts on, doesn't it?
yeah. I set it right up in there. Perfect.
Perfect
fit.
Yeah, good to know.